live on YouTube. I missed you guys last week, but obviously it was for a very important reason. It was WrestleMania weekend. I did not go live because at the time that I got here, Stand and Deliver was already happening somewhat. And it ended sometime around 3:30, 4 o'clock. So I was not going to be able to go live today, that week, that day, even if I wanted to. But I decided I have to go live today. Just a little quick rundown of WrestleMania. It was not perfect. Night one was not very good at all. We got maybe three matches that were good and one perfect main event that saw Seth Rollins win after Paul Heyman turned on CM Punk, which I almost expected to happen actually. Then, but then we had Paul Heyman turning on Roman Reigns as well, which then led to Seth Rollins winning via the curb stomp on Roman, assisted with a chair shot, which was obviously a bit of a callback, obviously, to the Shield breaking up in 2014. It is what it is. But we also got Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight, which was good. World Heavyweight Champion Gunther versus Jey Uso was good, and Jey Uso wins, which I'm happy about. Night 2 was so much better. Women's triple threat match for the women's world title to open the show was much better than the two women's matches we got on the previous night. Like, I mean, Jade Cargill, she is what she is. She's not great. Obviously, Naomi's great, and she tried, but it just wasn't a good match. Tiffany versus Charlotte could have been great. Like I said before, I've said this a couple of times, like in my head, just at home, just watching this feud sort of brew. I'm like, okay, this feud is terrible. The build up is terrible, but the match could definitely steal the show as they're both great in the ring. At least Tiffany's great all the time, and Charlotte's great when she wants to be. But apparently, she decided, I'm not going to be great tonight. I'm just going to do the bare minimum and I'm going to lose the match, but I'm going to make Tiffany look bad in the process. And yes, she did. It, especially in the last, like, maybe 5 minutes of the match, definitely looked like she was sandbagging a little bit, making Tiffany's moves look weak. Like she didn't want to, almost as if she didn't want to put over Tiffany in the best way possible. But hey, it's okay. Tiffany Stratton won, and that's all that matters. It's all that matters because she needed to win anyways. Two people here, 2 likes. Thank you to those two people. To those two people. Whoever you people are, and if there are people in here who, like, I don't know if I want to chat because I don't want to. I don't mind because I get distracted all the time by the people who come into this chat, anyways. The people who are normally in this chat. So go ahead, talk to me if you want. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna discourage it. But yeah, night 2 of WrestleMania was much better than night 1. Even though the main event was kind of flat as far as the ending goes. The match itself, the main event match of night 2 was good, was really good. It's just that the ending was flat. But it's okay. John Cena finally wins number 17, which means he breaks Ric Flair's record that he shared for many years, ever since he won number 16 in 2017. Now he now holds the record for the most world championship reigns by any superstar ever in the history of WWE. Ric Flair won 16, although technically only one of those reigns ever occurred within a WWE ring. Every other ring was like in like promotions like NWA, WCW, AWA, like all of these territory promotions that WWE barely ever talk about or acknowledged back in the day. So I'm just wondering, like, why are they willing to acknowledge all the world titles he won in other places when like places. I don't know. But hey, it's okay. It is what it is. Drinking my lemonade, frosty. It is a lemonade slash, I guess you could say lemonade slash Sprite combo, which I love. This is the best lemonade I've ever had in my lifetime. But let's get on with the show. This is Monday night, and we'll start out with Monday Night Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania, where we usually see a couple of maybe one or two returns, maybe a debut from the NXT brand. We did see someone from the NXT brand on this Monday Night Raw, not a call up, but just I guess just a showcase of sorts for the NXT Women's division. We saw the NXT Women's Champion Stephanie Vaquer. She was on the show, as was Roxanne Perez and former NXT Women's Champion Julia. Excuse me for a second, guys. I'm going to do something just for a second. Excuse that moment. I just had to do something for a second. But yeah, it is what it is. This episode of Monday Night Raw was a great episode. Start out with basically a recap of WrestleMania, whatnot. Oh, oops. It's not what happened. I had the wrong page. Okay, yeah, John Cena, as he's been doing most of the time when he's been here, ever since the Elimination Chamber, he's been opening the shows. Well, he opened it here with the title around his waist, but he was wearing it a little bit differently from others who wear the title around their waist, where he had the strap facing front, and the title itself and the logo itself and the title itself showing on his back. So interesting choice, interesting way to wear the title, but that's also because he's turned heel now for the first time since 2003, since I think November 2003. It's the last time we ever saw him as a heel. Yeah, he had a lot to say. About pretty much about the same as he said throughout most of his promos recently, leading up into WrestleMania. But then as his promo and as the segment ended, we saw Randy Orton come out of nowhere and RKO John Cena. I'm like, yes, they are already not playing around with this. They're not just going to give Cena's first opponent as champion. WWE have decided that they're not just going to give John Cena just anybody for his first opponent as champion. They're going all out, and they're making this special. They're giving us Randy Orton versus John Cena, which we've seen probably about a dozen times. And I'm not kidding. We probably have seen it 12 times, seen them wrestle 12 times, whether it's on maybe even more than that if you even count the times they've had matches on, even if you count the times they've had matches on Raw, SmackDown, that's probably accounts to more than 12 matches. Because I know they had a match on Raw in 2005, which was the Raw that WWE celebrated the death of Eddie Guerrero. So that's at least 13, and however many more matches they had on Raw and SmackDown over the years. But this is the first time that we've ever seen a John Cena versus Randy Orton match with the roles reversed. Every other time we saw Randy Orton versus John Cena, it was John Cena who was the face. Randy was always the heel. And we never got a John Cena versus a face Randy Orton versus heel John Cena before, because even when Randy Orton was face, was a face. John Cena was also a face, so we never got that. We always got a heel Randy Orton versus face John Cena, but now the roles are reversed, and we're getting a heel John Cena versus face Randy Orton, which is great. It's crazy to think that, considering how many times we've seen them, including at least the 4 or 5 times we saw them wrestle in 2009, when they were just constantly like flip flopping the WWE title. Like one week, John Cena would win it, Randy Orton would win it in like Hell in a Cell. Then at Breaking Point the next month, John Cena would win it in like an I Quit match. I think it was an I Quit match. I am Gray Austin. How about you? I hope you're good. I hope you're good. But yeah, this was great. This is great. The first match of the night, which I was a little bit surprised, was a rematch from WrestleMania. WrestleMania Night 2 was supposed to have Lyra Valkyria and Bayley go up against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the women's tag team titles after they won a gauntlet match about a week or so prior. But Bayley was apparently taken out on WrestleMania Night 1. They showed a backstage segment where Bayley was shown just lying on the floor, just apparently in pain or something. Now, a lot of people have since gotten a little bit upset about this because apparently, following this, it was made known to us that, oh yeah, Bayley was never supposed to be a part of WrestleMania. Bayley was never supposed to be at WrestleMania. She was never going to have a match or nothing. And she's not even injured. So that wasn't even an injury angle to write her off with an injury that she doesn't even have. Like, okay, well, if she was never supposed to wrestle at WrestleMania, then why the hell did they even make her and Lyra go through that gauntlet match, making us believe that they had a legitimate shot at winning the tag team titles if they didn't have any plans to use her at all? Now, obviously, Lyra Valkyria was forced to find herself a new partner, which she did in the form of a returning Becky Lynch, who got a standing ovation at WrestleMania. They still love her no matter how many times she goes away. She still love her when she comes back. But, well, this match went a little differently than WrestleMania. WrestleMania, Lyra and Becky won. Here, they lost the tag team titles back to Raquel and Liv, which I'm not mistaken makes Liv Morgan a 4-time women's tag team champion. And technically, if you want to count the 2 times that Raquel was NXT Women's Tag Team Champions with Dakota Kai, that makes Raquel a 6-time Women's Tag Team Champion. Probably, obviously, the most reigns. She has the most reigns as an NXT for the women's. Oh, wait. No, 5 actually. Well, 5 counting the 1 women's tag team title run she had with Aaliyah, which was a good little babyface moment, but didn't do much for her or Aaliyah at the time. I mean, they should have given the titles to Damage Control at that time, but they decided to go with the somewhat babyface moment. But hey, it is what it is. So technically, Raquel Rodriguez is a 7-time tag team champion in WWE, including 2 reigns in NXT, which basically only both reigns lasted about a day in length, because the first reign lasted mere minutes because they were forced to defend the titles immediately against, can't remember who it was. I think it was Shotzi and Ember Moon, and they lost the titles that night. The second time was at Stand and Deliver 2022. Then they would go on to lose the titles. Then they would lose the titles the following Tuesday back to the team they beat, Toxic Attraction. But good for them. They won the titles. Didn't expect it, but congrats to them. After the match, though, it was shocking because Becky decided, you know what, I'm going to turn heel again. And hopefully this is better than her prior heel run, which saw her be known as Big Time Bex. Yeah, that was gonna go. That was a disaster waiting to happen. But hey, that was good. That was good. After this, we go to a commercial break. After this, we get the New Day. The New Day came out. They won tag team gold at WrestleMania in a match that was flat. Flat. Nobody even cared. Nobody even cared enough to boo them, and they turned on Biggie, who is beloved by WWE fans. And at WrestleMania, the fans couldn't even be bothered to boo the New Day because this match was so rushed, so random, and so boring that it didn't even want the fans to boo the New Day, who have been getting nuclear level heat, like Dominic Mysterio when he turned on his father Ray heat. They got that. They got that nuclear heat from the crowd. From the crowd when they first turned heel, and ever since then, it's almost cooled off a bit because they haven't. I mean, when they turned on Biggie, the first thing they should have done was go after the tag team titles immediately. They should have immediately been inserted back into the tag team title picture, but they didn't. But they weren't. It took them at least maybe 2-3 months before they even started talking about the tag team titles. And I'm like, how did it take us this long? Because that's all their heel turn was really about, was them wanting another shot at the tag team titles, yet it took them 3 months just to even get to the tag team titles because they were needlessly feuding with the LWO for months, for weeks and weeks. I mean, it's an easy way to get heel heat, just attack a beloved babyface legend like Rey Mysterio and his group of luchadors, but it didn't really do much for the New Day. But they came out to celebrate their win at WrestleMania, which was then interrupted by Alpha Academy. Maxine Dupree said that if the New Day are such a great tag team, then why don't they defend their tag team titles tonight against Akira Tozawa and Otis? And Otis. Well, that match, even though we probably would have gotten that match, it never happened. It never was able to take place because of a certain Bulgarian brute returning to WWE for the first time in almost 5 years. In 5 years, yes, I am talking about Rusev, former United States champion, who had a very impressive undefeated streak after he debuted in WWE, only for that undefeated streak to be broken by none other than John Cena at WrestleMania 31 in a great match, which I have seen. Because I have WrestleMania 31 on DVD. Arguably one of the best WrestleManias since 2010. Since the 2010s began. So, it is what it is. But hey, I am glad that he's back. And I'm glad that he's going by Rusev again. But he's not getting he didn't get his original theme back, which I'm okay with that because it was a good theme, but I'm like, I would kind of like to see him get a different theme. And he did come out with a theme that was actually pretty decent from what I heard, so hey, here's hoping he's going to do well. He's hoping he's going to do well. We get Judgment Day. They're backstage. Judgment Day. Finn Balor he did not look happy. Did not look happy. Again, as always, he's never happy anymore, is he? even when his Judgment Day teammate Dominic Mysterio won the Intercontinental title, he's not happy. Because I'm guessing in his mind he should have won. He thinks that he should have won the match at WrestleMania, which was a great match, but he probably feels like he should have won at WrestleMania. And so I'm like, dude, just get over it. I don't think you were ever going to win that title, even if you wanted it more than life itself. You were never going to win. Dominic said that he had a match later tonight. He would be defending that title against Penta El Zero Miedo. So, great. Then we get Io Sky is out there. She is talking to the crowd. She was able to successfully defend her women's world championship against both Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair in the opening match of Night 2 WrestleMania, which was obviously, like I said, it was better than the previous night's 2 women's matches combined. At least, but then again, at least Tiffany and Charlotte were okay. It was an okay match, but it just wasn't anything special. But hey, it is what it is. Here's Sky talking to the crowd. She was then interrupted by Stephanie Vaquer, the current NXT Women's Champion. She came out there, talked with Io Sky a little bit, she acknowledged, no pun intended, that Io Sky is one of the best women's wrestlers in the WWE right now, and how she is wanting to face the best of the best. So she challenged Io Sky to a match. Non-title, neither title on the line, just, I guess you could say, just a showcase match to showcase both talents, showcase her talents. Io accepted, and the match lasted about 11 minutes. Very, very good match. And there's this move that Stephanie does that is very, like, a lot of people have praised this move. A lot of people have said that they just can't stand themselves whenever they just can't help themselves whenever they see her move. A move where she takes her opponent, wraps her legs around her opponent's head, and then drives them into the mat as they're basically like, as their hands are like stomping the mat as if they're tapping out, but they're not actually. They're just it's wild. That's a wild move. And then I know that Charlotte Flair has started to adapt that move into her arsenal, and it's not nearly as good as what Stephanie Vaquer does. It's not as good as when Stephanie does it, for sure. I think maybe she saw Stephanie do the move and was like, I'm jealous because she's doing a move that's so cool. I wish I could do it. But yeah, but this match didn't necessarily have a definitive finisher, because by the end of the match, Roxanne Perez decided, you know what, I'm going to come in, I'm going to ruin this match, and I'm going to attack Stephanie Vaquer, who I am facing this upcoming Tuesday, the very next night on NXT, for the NXT Women's Championship. So, hey, it is what it is. Then Julia comes out, attacks Io Sky. I'm like, okay. Are we getting a Julia heel turn? Because I just don't know why. She attacks Io. She definitely does not seem to be the same Julia that came out and when she first got into NXT. She was obviously a babyface, but I don't know. It is what it is. After this, we got a commercial break. We come back and we get Jey Uso segments. Jey Uso is celebrating his win at WrestleMania. He won the World Heavyweight Championship. He just talked about WrestleMania, talked about his family, talked about the attack that Gunther did on Jimmy, which obviously fueled him to want to win even more at WrestleMania. And then Sami Zayn comes out to congratulate Jay on his win. He's proud of Jay, and then Jimmy comes out as well to celebrate. Although at one point when Jay was on I think it was on the second or top turnbuckle, Sami Zayn was looking at him, and I'm sure, and a lot of people were like, "Oh crap, Sami Zayn, that's like he was in like a prime position to potentially attack Jay and turn heel." But he didn't do it. So I'm like, is he gonna turn heel eventually again? Because I know he became like a white hot baby face when he finally turned his back on Roman. He became like a white hot baby face, like immediately. The crowd was like wondering, I'm sure at that time they were just wondering like, when is it gonna happen? When is Sammy gonna be tired of Roman's antics? And it happened, and he became like white hot in like a matter of, with like one chair to the back. He became white hot, and he's still very much cheered for babyface. I don't think it's as hard as they were in 2023, when in the first half of 2023 when he turned on Roman and then won the titles at WrestleMania against the Usos with Kevin Owens. But it is what it is. Maybe he will turn heel eventually at this point, sometime this year. Who knows? Karrion Kross was backstage, and he had some things to say to AJ Styles regarding his match against Logan Paul. Now, apparently, I didn't. I'm gonna have to see if I can find the full interview. But Karrion Kross was apparently giving an interview this week. And let's just say he really, really blew the lines between kayfabe and real. Talking about how guys like Logan Paul, Bad Bunny, and all these people who aren't necessarily WWE superstars, how they just come in and immediately they're just given everything. Whereas guys like him have been scratching and clawing their way to the top, or at least trying to, for years, only to be shut down whenever it looks like they're about to taste the least bit of success. Like when Karrion Kross came back to WWE in 2022, late 2022, I was like, yes, 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 yes. I watched him in NXT for the short amount of time that when I started watching NXT back in 2021. NXT's In Your House 2021 was the first show I watched. And so I saw that. I saw Karrion Kross. I saw he was like, okay, this guy's a killer. I mean, he almost ran over William Regal. At least he almost ran over William Regal, and he almost ran over Johnny Gargano at one point. And I'm like, dude, I love this guy now. I love this guy. I don't even know who he is, yet I love him. But then he got released. But then he got sent up to the main roster and got that horrible gimmick. Like he was wearing basically a gladiator style outfit with a shredder like mask. I'm like, dude, no. No, no, no. That will not do. He got fired, then he got brought back, and ever since then he's been good, but I just feel like he's never really been the same that he was in NXT. But recently they did give him his original theme back from NXT, Dead Silence. And I feel like right now they are starting to maybe rehabilitate Kross and maybe give him that killer edge that he had in NXT, which I'm excited for if that's what they're going to do. So they're trying to make Karrion Kross relevant again, which is going to take some time. But I think they're starting to get it that Karrion Kross is great, and they can't just not push him. But it is what it is. He wasn't necessarily happy that AJ Styles decided to not use the brass knuckles at WrestleMania when Karrion Kross gave him a chance to use them. AJ was like, I didn't want to do that because yes, I turned heel last year, but I didn't like it. I didn't like what I saw out of me. So, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, we got now. At one point during the show, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole were talking about the match between Gunther and Jay Uso, talking about how Jay Uso made Gunther tap out to the sleeper hold, which is Gunther's own submission move that he uses. Let's just say Gunther did not like this at all. And so he decided to come out there and decided to personally address the issue by none other than attacking Pat McAfee and Michael Cole. Although he got more in on Pat McAfee than Michael Cole, he choked out Pat McAfee, which since then has forced WWE official Adam Pearce to fine and suspend Gunther. Although, from what I have now learned, this was not actually. It's this. This is only because he is going to. The suspension is only because he has asked for time off, which he more than deserves because of his run as world champion. So he's just taking some time off. He'll be back eventually. Who knows what he'll be doing after that, but he is great at what he does. He's great at being that smug, egotistical heel who just, that narcissist heel who just thinks he's so much better than everybody and that nobody's on his level and that nobody should ever be on his level. But yeah, that was brutal. After this, we got Dominic Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. This match lasted just over 11 minutes. Nothing too special. It was good. Dominic won via interference from Judgment Day, but we got something special. We got the return of JD McDonough, who has been out since, I'm guessing, since like January or so, when he had a match with Dominic Mysterio against the War Raiders in a tag team match that was very good for the tag titles. JD had injured himself while performing a moonsault with, I think, the back of his neck hitting the announce table, and it was brutal. Apparently, he didn't even want to stop the match afterwards, and he was injured for the rest of the match, but didn't even want to stop the match. Some might call that crazy. I call that just brave and badass. But yeah, he's back, so Judgment Day is now fully complete again, technically. So it is what it is. Congrats to Dominic Mysterio on winning his first ever singles title, but it does look like he's getting cheered now. I don't know why, because the attack on Ray should still be very much. Hey, thanks for coming, Jeremy. Thank you for coming. If there's anybody here that has not hit that like button and you would like to do it, feel free to do so. It is never required, but I do appreciate it. Let's get it to 5 likes minimum. That's what I like all my live streams to do. At least 5 likes minimum, and then we can go from there and see what happens from there. But yeah. Then we get the main event. Paul Heyman, he has now aligned himself with Seth Rollins, and now we can officially say that Seth Rollins is a Paul Heyman guy. My God, I did not expect to be saying that in 2025, because never in a million years would I have thought that Seth Rollins, of all people, would be a Paul Heyman guy, but that's what he is now. And so Seth Rollins had a lot to say about CM Punk and Roman Reigns, but Apparently, CM Punk and Roman Reigns decided to crash the party. They both got their asses kicked because apparently someone else has decided to align themselves with Paul Heyman, and it is none other than the former Intercontinental Champion who lost his title in that fatal four-way match at WrestleMania, Braun Breaker. I'm like, okay. Some people are already making the case to be known that this is like WWE's way of reintroducing the Evolution stable as like an Evolution 2.0. With like, obviously, Paul Heyman would be the Ric Flair of the group. Seth Rollins, I'm guessing, is the Triple H. And Braun Breaker is like Batista. Now, all they would need is their own own Randy Orton. Obviously, the obvious choice would be Miles Bourne because he has been compared to Randy Orton for quite some time now. But I don't think he's ready for a main roster call up yet. So if this is shaping up to be like an Evolution 2.0, then that means they are gonna get at least one more guy in this group, in this stable. Who it is, I don't know. They could get Austin Theory because although they've been teasing a face turn for Austin Theory for weeks and for months and months and months. And where the hell is A-Town Down Under? I haven't seen them since that tag team match they had with Jimmy and Jay on the road to WrestleMania. Where are they? It's okay. We'll see what happens, but this was a great episode of Monday Night Raw. Best Raw at WrestleMania in a while, and I will give it a 8 out of 10. Maybe 8.5. I mean, there was some things that weren't like perfect, but it was pretty good, but it was pretty decent. Then we go over to Tuesday and NXT. NXT after WrestleMania was a very good show. We started off with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez putting their women's tag team championships on the line against Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan. Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan won a fatal four-way elimination match on the Stand and Deliver pre-show from this year. This year's Stand and Deliver, the pre-show had a four-way women's tag team elimination match. The winner got a shot at the women's tag team titles at a future date. This match was won by Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan, and so this is that match that they get. Lasted about 13 minutes. A very good women's title match, which the heels obviously won, so it is what it is. Good match, and good job to Liv and Raquel for being the champions again. Raquel, like I said, currently now I'm sure holds the record for the most reigns ever as women's tag team champion, although I think both of them now have the most reigns as any women's champion because Raquel's won the title 5 times. There's only, let's say, Asuka won it 3 times. Once with Kairi Sane, twice with Kairi Sane, and once with Charlotte Flair's, and once with Alexa Bliss. So actually, she's a 4-time tag team champion as well. And then there's Alexa Bliss, who won it with Nikki Cross twice, and then once with Alexa. So she's 3-time women's tag team champion. So yeah. So now currently Liv, Raquel, and Asuka are now currently the 3 women who have the most reigns ever as NXT women's tag team champions. Congrats to them. Backstage after this, we go backstage. Now, if you watch Stand and Deliver, which I did, we got Penn and Teller. We got Penn and Teller on the show. It was in Las Vegas. I guess we weren't really gonna have a Las Vegas show, Stand and Deliver, without at least a cameo from Penn and Teller, which we did get. And on the Stand and Deliver show, we had Teller come out wearing a Yeet shirt, and he even did the Yeet. Like, oh no. Tower, please don't. I don't think Tower needs to be wearing a Yeet shirt doing the Yeet. At least he didn't talk, which he doesn't do anyways. Oh god, that was just way too funny. That was way too funny. Well, apparently they're still in Las Vegas, and so he was still there backstage. Lexus King wanted his Heritage Cup championship back, which Penn agreed to give him the title back if he promised that he'd defend the title later on tonight, which he would wind up doing. So hey, here's what it is. After this, we go backstage again. Yvonne Evans and Miles Bourne are backstage. Miles Bourne is with Ren Sinclair. They run into Dark State, and Yvonne Evans decides that he wants to fight Dark State, so he challenges him to a tag team match with Miles Bourne, which Miles Bourne accepts. Well, actually, Miles Bourne decided, you know what, Javon, I'm going to be your partner for tonight if you don't mind. And Javon said, okay, hey, let's do it. After this, we go commercial break, come back. Ricky Saints is out there. He is the NXT North American Champion. He retained his title successfully at Stand and Deliver against Ethan Page in a pretty decent match. In a very good match. Which is good because they're both really good, so it makes sense they would have a good match. He talked about Stand and Deliver, talked about defending his title, talked about any new potential challengers. Then Lexus King comes out, confronts Ricky, and decides, you know what, I might come for your championship as well. And if I'm able to successfully defend my title this week, tonight, this could be a champion versus champion match. Whoever wins might become a double champion. It is what it is. So we go back after this. We go backstage, and Thea Hale is with Hank and Tank. Ruka and Zarya backstage. Hank and Tank come through. They are the new NXT Tag Team Champions. They beat Fraxium, Nathan Frazier, and Axiom at Stand and Deliver. So good for them. Don't know how they're going to be booked as tag team champions, but it is what it is. Congrats to them. Thea Hale comes in, all energy and stuff. Then Fatal Influence comes in, and they're like, you're still here? Thea challenges Fallon to a match. Then Fallon decides to throw some shade at JC Jane, who couldn't beat Thea Hale ever. It's like, well, you couldn't beat Thea, so maybe I will. So maybe I can. So I'll do it for you, since you couldn't do it yourself. Like, if you want something done right, do it yourself. After this, we got a segment which got me all confused and worried a little bit for a superstar. We got Luca Cristofino. He was, I guess, driving. I don't know what kind of car he was driving, but he was in the desert and he was driving, and I guess he was going to meet up with Stax, who had turned his back on Tony D'Angelo at Stand and Deliver. And I'm like, oh, dang. What's going to happen here? They talk back and forth. Stax then At one point, Stacks just decides to cut off Luca and say, "Look, hey, Luca, you know why I brought you out here, right?" Luca then says, like, after about a second or so, I guess he realizes what the reason for him being out here is. Like, oh, and then the screen just goes black. I'm like, what the hell? Did they just kill off Luca? Are they about to kill off Luca Crucifino's character? Like, are they really about to do that? Is this going to be another sleeping with the fishes type of situation? Or in this case, sleeping with the snakes as they were in the desert. I'm like, whoa, they decided to do that. They might have just killed off Luca Crucifino, and I'm okay with it. I mean, it's been reported now as of today. It's been reported that Tony D'Angelo might be looking to call up Tony D'Angelo to the main roster, which would be nice considering he is long overdue. He's been in NXT since 2022, since like 2022. So he's been there for 3 years. I think he's done enough. He was a former North American champion, Heritage Cup champion. He's been there for a while, so I feel like, and multiple time tag team champion, at least twice. So I'm like, okay, I think he's good for a main roster call up, but will they call up Luca and Rizzo and the others? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that was creepy. Like, what were they? What did they do to Luca? What's happened to Luca? We'll see. Since I watch NXT, I'll be able to figure out next week. By next week, by this Tuesday, I'll probably be able to find out what happened. Hopefully. After this, we got Lexis King coming out. He is getting ready. He is about to defend his NXT Heritage Cup champion against a mystery opponent, which he does not know who it is. Penn told him that it was going to be a surprise. And boy, was it ever a surprise. Because his Heritage Cup opponent was none other than a former Heritage Cup champion in his own right, Noam Dar, who was taken out last year, shortly after Stand and Deliver, was taken out by Ethan Page. When it looked like when it looked like Noam Dar was potentially going to go after the NXT title and Trick Williams at the time, Ethan Page took him out. He's been out now for a full year basically. Now he's back, and this match went about 6 minutes, and Noam Dar is now your new Heritage Cup champion. Now, it remains to be seen what Noam Dar is going to think of the changes that Lexis King made to the championship, because before Lexis King was the champion, it was defended in multiple rounds, multiple like 3-minute, 2-minute rounds, 6 rounds total 3 minutes each. So if you wanted to, the match could potentially go as much as 18 minutes long, but it has to be somewhat of a definitive. So basically, it's like a 15-minute Iron Man match, but the first person to get the 2 falls gets the win. So it's not. So even though it is like an Iron Man match, it's not quite that. But it is what it is. Congrats, Noam Dar. Glad he's back. He looks better. He looks better now. And he's also shaved his head. He also got a haircut because before he got injured, he had longer hair, and now it's shorter, like a buzz cut of sorts, but not quite. It's just shorter than he had it before he got injured. But hey, It's great to see him back. Then we get Fallon Henley versus Thea Hale, and boy, this match was quick. Barely lasted just over 2 minutes. Thea Hale won via the Kimura lock, and that's how that match ended. And I'm like, okay, that match was short. That match was short. I expected it to be at least a little bit longer, maybe about 4 or 5 minutes or so, but no, the match lasted just over 2 minutes. And thank you, Austin, for the like. I saw that, but I just thought I'd mention it now. Thank you. We also got the tag team match between Javon Evans and Miles Bourne versus Dark State. This match lasted just over 12 minutes, give or take 12 minutes, 30 seconds almost, but it was a very decent tag team match, although Dark State were able to win as they always have done recently. They just don't seem to lose recently. But they won. Miles Bourne had his no quarter catch crew teammates, Charlie Dempsey and Tavion Heights, at the entrance way at the entrance way, just sort of looking on, as they did not look very happy that Miles Bourne lost that match. But it is what it is. Ooh, I'm just thinking, Miles Bourne and Charlie Dempsey did not look at all too happy that Miles Bourne lost that tag team match. They could also be a little upset that he decided to tag with Javon Evans and not one of them. Thinking, and if they decide to toss him to the side and toss him out of the group, then Miles Bourne could be the guy that's coming to join Paul Heyman as a Paul Heyman guy. I don't know, but we'll see where that goes. Then we get a video package. Now, apparently, I was never really that much of a Chase University fan, but it looks like we might be getting the rebirth of Chase U. Kale Dixon and some other guy, I don't know his name, but they're just big fans of Andre Chase, and they were big fans of Chase U, and they've been wanting him to revive it for weeks and weeks, and he's been like, no, I can't. I'm just gonna ruin everybody. I'm just gonna ruin your lives like I ruined everybody else's. But I'm guessing they I don't know. I guess they have faith in him, and now it looks like Chase U might be back. Don't know what I think about that, but it is what it is. We got Trick Williams and Obafemi. Obafemi came out to address the crowd, address his win at Stand and Deliver. He didn't have a lot of nice things to say about Javon Evans going into the match, in the weeks going into the match, but he has since realized that, oh, okay, this guy is a lot better than I gave him credit for. He's definitely good and he's going to be great, but just not yet. After this, we got Trick Williams coming out. He is still not happy. I mean, he got his rematch. He got his rematch for the title, and he's still upset. Why? Oh, that's right, because he's still not the champion. He's not going to be satisfied until he has that championship around his waist for a third time. And he was just pissed off at how everybody seems to want to, every time it seems like he's just about to get a one-on-one rematch with Obafemi, someone else comes in to spoil everything and make it a triple threat match. So every time he feels like he's just about to get a one-on-one, a fair shot at the title, someone else comes in and disrupts everything. That's exactly what happened tonight, because apparently, I didn't know he was coming, but Joe Hendry decided to make his another appearance on NXT. Great. He was at WrestleMania. He lost to Randy Orton convincingly, though he got in some offense, but it was a convincing win for Randy Orton. But great for Joe Hendry in TNA to be showcased at WrestleMania. There's even been reports going around that Jeff Hardy was initially planned to be the guy to come out, and that probably would have been a better, safer choice. but they decided to have their world champion take a pinfall loss at WrestleMania and eat an RKO post match. Even after even after Joe, Henry, and Randy Orton shook hands. Great. It is what it is. But the main event, Stephanie Becker versus Roxanne Perez for the Women's Championship. This was a great match. About 13 minutes. And Stephanie Becker won. So what happens now for Roxanne, I do not know. I feel like she is going up to the main roster. If she does, great for her. She deserves to go up to the main roster. She's done everything in NXT. Although she does not seem to be content with just leaving, as she still wants that NXT championship. I don't know what's going to happen next week, but it is what it is. Should be good. NXT this week was great. I will give it a 7.5 out of 10. It was really good. Then AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite was this week. Wasn't very good at all. Last week, Spring Breakthrough, I think it was Spring Breakthrough, it was like a great episode of NXT. It was a great episode of NXT. And okay, I'm like, okay, where's this AEW been? Last week, AEW had one of its best AEW Dynamites in forever, in at least 2 years. Yet, for some reason, this week, it's the exact opposite. Last week was great. This week was down the toilet, drain, like whatever you want to call it. It was a complete fart. I'm like, this is exactly what's wrong with AEW right now. It's like 1 week they'll have a great episode of Dynamite that some might say was the best AEW Dynamite in forever. But then when it comes to the very next week, it's like, nah, we're not going to give you what we gave you last week, because why should we? Why should you? People are gonna, there was some stuff on this show that I liked. It's just that the majority of it was nothing compared to what they gave us last week. We opened up with rap legend Master P. Great. I was watching him just the other night on a Celebrity Watch Party. Yes, I still watch that. I still watch those episodes every now and then on Tubi. Whenever I get the chance, I like to watch those episodes. And I was watched episodes 2 and 3 last night. And so we got Master P here with the Ops. Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs. We got, obviously they won the trios titles last week against the Death Riders, but since then the Death Riders have not been happy. I mean, even on Collision the very next day, they were seen taking out officials at ringside, taking their aggression out on equipment and stuff. Like, yeah, they're not happy. They're not happy about losing their titles, and tonight was no exception. They attacked the Ops. Then even the Young Bucks came out. They've been like trying to get all buddy with the Death Riders, which makes no sense because the last time we saw the Young Bucks before they came back, they were leaving AEW because the Death Riders were causing way too much chaos for their liking, and they were hating the way the Death Riders were tearing apart their vision for AEW. And I'm like, okay, so when did they suddenly decide we're not scared of Death Riders anymore? We actually like them and we want to be buddies with them. When did that happen? Just out of the blue? Like, make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. Last time we saw them, they were running away from the Death Riders. Now they're trying to get in the friend zone with these guys, and Jon Moxley has now made it clear, I don't like the Young Bucks. I don't care how many times you try to buddy up with us, it's not going to happen. Okay? There's nothing you're going to be able to say or do that's going to make us be friends. mutual benefits or whatever, friends with benefits or whatever. Like, good. The one good thing Moxley has done or said in this whole entire storyline is that he is not going to do business with the Young Bucks, which makes more sense than anything. Why would he want to do business with the Young Bucks, anyways? Only business they do is bad business. But hey, it is what it is. The first match of the night, though, was Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet. Went about 12 minutes. Very good match. Very good match. It ended with Mark Briscoe getting a surprise win, which I did not expect. But then the post match was everything I expected it to be, which was Ricochet taking out his aggression on Mark Briscoe for losing, which I totally saw happening after seeing that Mark Briscoe won. It is what it is. But hey. But MJ, after this, we go backstage with the Patriarchy. Nick Wayne was obviously still celebrating his win over Commander to becoming the Ring of Honor television champion, making him the youngest champion in AEW's history and the youngest champion on AEW's active roster at the moment. Then Christian Cage decided, no, give me that title because I helped you win it. I'm the reason you're champion. And he also decided to say that your mom and I celebrated your win last week on Collision very hard. I'm like, oh, crap. Christian Cage, do not change. Do not change at all. I'm just going to say it. I don't want Christian Cage to ever turn babyface ever again. These lines that he delivers as a heel, classic, and I don't want Christian Cage to change ever. I don't think he should ever be a babyface ever again because what he's done as a heel eclipses anything that he's ever done as a babyface. I'm sorry, but it's just the way I feel. I love him as a heel. Even when it just feels like he's taking cheap shots at people, it's like the cheap shots are so good, so good cheap shots that all you ever want to do is just laugh. Or just boo, in this case may be. But it also does look like the Patriarchy is fracturing just a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Nick Wayne decides to turn on Christian Cage. Maybe the Patriarchy turns their back on Christian Cage. Who knows what's going to happen? But hey, then we get the MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. This has been a great, somewhat storyline, although it is a little stupid. MJF is trying to get in with the Hurt Syndicate and wants to hurt people. And wants to hurt people. We hurt people. He wants to get in with the Hurt Syndicate, which he believes will be a ticket to him getting a world title match eventually. Don't know how MJF expects to get an AEW world title match if he's trying to join up with the Hurt Syndicate, where neither one of its members is world champion. It's still Jon Moxley, and I don't think you want to face this version of Jon Moxley, MJF. I'm sorry, but I don't think you want to do that. Tonight he had his most convincing argument yet, and even Shelton Benjamin gave him a thumbs up, but MJF still gave him a thumbs down, a very convincing thumbs down. Whether this leads to him actually joining the group, I do not know. I still think that Tony Khan should just call up Cedric Alexander and have him come into AEW and join the Hurt Syndicate because that's just the way it should be. Because Cedric Alexander was an integral part of the Hurt Syndicate and it hurt business, and it would make so much more sense for Cedric Alexander to be in the group than MJF. But here it is what it is. And these segments have actually been pretty good and pretty funny. So I'm like, okay, I'm interested in it, but not as interested as I would be. We then get Max Caster. He's backstage. He's not happy about that match. He's not happy about his AEW Dynasty match on the pre-show, basically against Anthony Bowens, who decided to return after being out for a while. After Max Caster decided, you know what, I'm just gonna quit the prior whatever their tag team name was, the Acclaimed. I'm quitting the Acclaimed, and I'm gonna just it is what it is. It is what it is. Should be. We also get an FTR segment involving the Rock and Roll Express, which ended exactly how you would expect. FTR, they are attacking the Rock and Roll Express. It is what it is. Let's move on. Then we get a tag team match. The Young Bucks versus Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. This was a decent tag team match. Lasted about 12 minutes or so. Decent tag team match, but it was just like, it didn't do much for me. But it was decent because the people in that match, notably the two faces in the match, Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey, were good. Young Bucks, they just don't seem to do much of anything different. They're just Super Kick Party, V-Triggers, Meltzer Driver, whatever their normal move set is. A decent match, it's just that it didn't do much for me, and I just wasn't enjoying it. But it was decent because the in-ring action was somewhat good. It's just the Young Bucks being involved in the match just made it a match that I didn't care for. We got another tag team match. Will Ospreay and Brody King versus Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita of the Don Callis family. Now, I think it's Hangman Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher, who will be facing off in a semifinals match for the Owen Hart tournament. But this was just a tag team match, just to get a tag team match, and this match was even better than the previous tag team match. And this match didn't last as long as the other one. This match lasted just about over 9 minutes. It was good. It was really good tag team match considering all the people that were involved. The heels won the match, and then the heels stood tall at the end of the night. Even though Hangman came out there to assist, they had Mark Davis and Trent Beretta out there as well. Oh, no, it was Josh Alexander. He came out there as well and to basically even up the odds for the Don Callis family. The Don Callis family has, let's see, 7 guys. The Don Callis family has 7 guys in it. The Murder Machine, which is Brian Cage and Lance Archer. Then you've got, obviously, Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita. Now Josh Alexander, who just debuted last week. And then you've got Mark Davis and Trent Beretta. Those two don't really even need to be in the group. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But hey. Yeah, then we basically get the main event of the show was Chris Statlander versus Jamie Hayter semifinals match for the Owen Hart tournament on the women's side. Jamie Hayter wins the match, which I actually somewhat predicted was going to happen, and I was hoping actually that it would happen. So now we're going to be getting Mercedes Moné and Jamie Hayter in the finals at Revolution, which is next month. And so it should be a good match. That should be a good match. Who wins? Ah, God, they're gonna probably give it to Mercedes because I know Tony Khan. By now, I think I know Tony Khan. And if Tony Khan's the person I know, I think he is by now, he is not going to sit. He's not sitting well with the fact that Jade Cargill has been made into a star in WWE, and so he's going to be petty and he's going to make Mercedes Moné beat Jade Cargill's record as the longest reigning TBS champion in the company's history. So she's probably going to win this match against Hayter, and then she's probably going to beat Toni Storm at All In, which will then, and then she'll hold all the women's titles and just hold the entire women's division hostage, all because one man can't stand the fact that Jade Cargill is no longer in his promotion and is being treated probably more like a star than she ever was in AEW. I hope that's not the case, but it is what it is. Because of some of the stuff that I saw that was good this week, I will give AEW Dynamite a 6 out of 10. But that's just it. Decent, but nowhere near as good as last week, which I gave it an 8 out of 10, which I would have given an 8 out of 10. Now on to SmackDown. John Cena opened the show, talked about Randy Orton, talked about the RKO, talked about the title, talked about the audience. He even decided to get into it with a fan who I guess decided to give him the middle finger, and then decided to call that fan's dad out for being a loser. I'm like, John Cena, come on, Cena. Why are you going this hard? You do not need to be cooking this hard. I loved it, but it's like, John, you don't have to cook this fan so hard. But it was so good, but it was like a little unnecessary, but it was just so good at the same time. Randy Orton came out, didn't even let him get a word in edgewise. They even brought up the fact that John Cena doesn't have any kids. And then John's like, how dare you come out here and parent shame me in front of the whole class, or in this case, the entire world. And he said that the only reason why he doesn't have kids himself is because he has been raising the kids of the WWE Universe for years. And that he's been parenting them better than their own parents. My God, John Cena went all out last night on his promo, and it was just great. And the match has now been made official for Backlash, which I am more than happy about because it will be the first time we've seen a face Randy Orton versus a heel John Cena, which should be a great match. Although a lot of people were like, John Cena didn't even do that well in his last match against Cody Rhodes. I didn't know because I thought the match was pretty darn good, minus the ending. We got Fraxium making their official main roster debut as a team. We've seen them both on the main roster once in singles action. Axiom took on Gunther a number of weeks ago. And a couple of weeks ago, and then about a week ago, and then about a few weeks ago when Rey Fenix made his debut, he faced Nathan Frazier. But this was their official call-up. So they faced Los Garza, Humberto Carrillo, and Angel Garza. This match went about 10 minutes. It was very good. And they won. Good for them. It was a great match. They should be great on the main roster. Great addition to the tag team division. We got Tiffany Stratton came out there. She addressed her win at WrestleMania where she beat Charlotte Flair. She addressed that. Then, before she could say anything else, Jade Cargill comes out and was like, okay, Jade, congrats on your win at WrestleMania, but I'm here to start now my ascent to the top of the WWE ladder, and I feel like the only way to do that is to have a match against you. And so we got the match. Lasted about 10 minutes, lasted about 9 minutes. Decent match for Jade. It was a decent match, actually better than her match against Naomi at WrestleMania, which she won. But this match did not end well. It ended with Naomi attacking Jade, and then led to Nia Jax returning to WWE to flatten Tiffany. And I'm like, oh no. Are we seriously? Are we seriously going back to Tiffany and Nia again versus Nia? Like, no, that match wasn't even that good. And so I'm sorry, but that's just the way I feel about it. I don't think that feud's gonna be that their second match isn't gonna be any better than their first match. Maybe it will be. I don't know. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. After this, we got Jacob Batu. As the new U.S. champion, he was out there with Solo Sikoa. And they were talking about WrestleMania. Solo Sikoa decided, you know what? I'm going to take credit for all of this. What you did at WrestleMania, being here in WWE, I'm just gonna take credit for all of it. That clearly did not sit well with Jacob Batu before they could say anything else, before they could quote unquote argue. LA Knight came out and was like, you know what, Jacob? I'll give you credit. You won at WrestleMania, but if you think I'm just gonna sit by and watch you hold my United States Championship, you're wrong. So I want my rematch, and I want it right now. Then Drew McIntyre comes out and decides to berate fans and decides to make fun of LA Knight. LA Knight making jokes. And then LA Knight decided to do what I thought was cool, was a classic burn. And it's like the last champion, I'd say that the last title reign you had was a joke. But then I can't remember, but then I don't even know if I'd be able to remember it. Because guess what? It lasted no more than 5 minutes. Because when Drew won the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 440 last year, he held it for basically 5 minutes because after he won, he decided, you know what, I'm just going to shove it in CM Punk's face. And how'd that work out? He got attacked by CM Punk and then cashed in on by Damian Priest. It is what it is. But that was a sick burn. This led to Nick Aldis making a match between the two of them, official, and later on in the night for number one contendership for the United States title. This led to, after this, we got Nia and Naomi backstage. Naomi is backstage. Nia comes up to her and says, look, Naomi, I don't care about your feud with Jade, but when it comes to me, when it comes to Tiffany Stratton, stay out of my business. Naomi fires back saying, okay, Nia, but only if you proceed with caution. That's exactly how she said it. Actually, that's actually how she's been saying it every single time she says that. Proceed with caution. She says it just like that. Yeah. Nia's like, rude. Then we get this match between Drew McIntyre and LA Knight. This match lasted just about 11 minutes. Match ended with the Bloodline sort of getting their involvement in. Decided to attack Drew McIntyre first. Then LA Knight. Then Damian Priest decided to get involved in this. Like, okay, I'm guessing they're setting up a potential fatal 4-way match between Drew, Damian, LA Knight, and Jacob Batu. Potentially a backlash, which I'm not mad at if they decide to do that. But it is what it is. We got Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green for the Women's United States Championship. I did not expect Zelina Vega to win, but she won. Secret Hervis was out there, but eventually at one point the referee saw Piper Niven get involved in the match, so he decided, you know what? You're out. Chelsea Green got mad, like screaming mad, like no, no, no. This led to Zelina Vega though getting the win and winning her first ever singles title, or at the very least her first singles title ever. She is a former tag team champion, alongside Carmella. So this marks only her second title in the company and her first singles title ever. Congrats to her. Although her theme song is complete garbage. Like, throw it in the trash. Give her original theme back, which was, I mean, you could even give her like Queen Zelina theme, and that would have even been a little bit better than this theme, than her current theme, which is terrible. Like, oh, come on. Yeah, we didn't get much after this. We didn't get much after this. We got, oh yeah, we got R-Truth backstage. We got John Cena on R-Truth segment backstage, and I'm like, oh no, please, R-Truth is going to be crushed because his childhood hero John Cena is now heel, and now he's going to have to find someone new to hero, a new person to inspire him. Man, John Cena is going to break R-Truth's heart. And that's going to be crushing. And when it happens, it's just going to be the most soul crushing thing. That's going to get nuclear heat. That's like New Day turning on Biggie, or Dominic Mysterio turning on Ray. That's going to be when that happens. It's when John Cena decides to attack R-Truth, if it ever does happen, you bet the crowd's gonna boo like crazy, because R-Truth is basically a national treasure. You just don't mess with R-Truth. We also got Miz. He is out there. He is not happy about being left off WrestleMania. He still he mentioned WrestleMania 27, where he beat John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania 27 to retain his WWE Championship. Yeah, he's still using that as if that's the best thing he's ever done, which, to be honest, it actually what is the best thing he's ever done, and he's never done anything better than that. His only WrestleMania main event. I wonder why. But it is what it is. Although Miz was interrupted by a returning Aleister Black. Yes. Now, I don't know what happened with one of his eyes, but when he came back, he had one of his eyes was different. So I'm like, did something happen with one of his eyes that I can't remember? But yeah, now it's been made official that this will be Aleister Black's first match back, will be against The Miz next week. I'm excited to see Aleister Black back. And I'm excited to see Aleister Black in WWE with Triple H running creative, because he was one of Triple H's favorites in NXT. So Aleister Black's going to probably get a serious push. Not a mega push like main event, but at least a push, which I do like. Then we get TLC main event ladder match. DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns versus Street Profits. This match was better than most of the matches at WrestleMania 2041 combined. Like the majority of matches on WrestleMania 41's Night 1 could have easily any one of the matches from WrestleMania 41 Night 1, especially that tag team match. That was utter silence, but that was New Day versus War Raiders, could have easily taken that out, put this ladder match in, and it would have been the match of the night, minus maybe the main event. Which is probably the reason why they didn't put the women's triple threat match on night one because they just did not want any match to match the main event. But this match was great. They even did a callback to the WrestleMania 17 TLC match between the Dudleys, Hardys, and Edge and Christian, with Montez Ford delivering a spear off the top of a ladder while Tommaso Ciampa was hanging where the titles were, recreating that iconic spear moment from Edge to Jeff Hardy. At one point, Montez Ford even got a prosthetic leg from a fan in the crowd and was using it to attack. I think it was a DIY with it. Like, holy crap. Cheap Profits won. I wanted DIY to win. Cheap Profits won. Congrats to them. What did DIY do after this? I don't know. Do they just accept this loss or do they continue to go after the tag team titles that they think they should have? Who knows? But this was a great episode of SmackDown. And I will rate it an 8 out of 10. But that is it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed, and don't know what I will do. Don't know what I'll be doing next. What I'll do next week. I'll go live next week, but who knows what I'll be doing in the coming week. Maybe I'll do another live stream. I'll try to do like a workout live stream this week. But I will let you guys know. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace.